Okay, in this video, we're going to start covering combat, specifically range combat, and how it works in the Nations of War system. Now, we're not going to cover every single aspect of it. Things like concealment or extended range, reduced range, stuff like that are going to be covered in follow-on videos. So make sure you watch those to get a complete picture of how range combat works. Okay, I've got a couple of examples set out right here for you, and we're going to go over the different counters conducting their attacks so you can see what numbers you're going to specifically look at when you're determining your attacks and how they work out. So let's say our Tiger formation here has been activated and they're conducting their impulse and they want to conduct an attack over here against these Russian units. Well, depending on who they fire upon, whether it's the hard targets like these Su-152s or the infantry that's located here, is going to determine what numbers that they look at when they're determining their firepower. Let's say this stack of Tigers wants to fire onto these Su-152s. One thing to keep in mind is the attacks are conducted separately. You don't total a firepower, and you also target individual units in a hex, not the entire stack of units that are on the hex. So a single Tiger will conduct a single attack against a single Su-152. We are going to look at the top left set of numbers on the counter. In this case, it's 734, 7 denoting its range, 3 denoting its firepower, and 4 denoting its to hit number. Again, we will cover extended range and reduced range later on. So this is its AP firepower, and it's going to conduct an attack against this Su-152 that is an open terrain, so no modifiers to worry about there. And then we will look at the Su-152's armor factor, which is a 3-5 located in its upper right portion of the counter. So let's say our Tiger rolls an attack and it rolls a 1, 4, and a 5. We see that the Tiger's to hit number is a 4. That denotes that it has scored 2 hits on this attack. The Su-152, having a armor value of 3-5, will roll 3 dice looking for 5s to prevent the damage from coming through. Let's say the Su-152 rolls a 1, a 4, and a 6. In this case, they only have 1 success on their armor roll, which would block 1 hit coming from the Tiger, leaving the Su-152 that is fired at disrupted. And after the Tiger completed its attack, it would be marked ops complete. But let's say instead of firing at the Su-152, it wanted to fire at the infantry instead. In that case, it would conduct its attack in the same fashion. It would just look at the lower left hand of the counter, and we see its stats for its HE, attacks against soft targets, is 5, 3, 5, meaning it's got a range of 5, rolls 3 dice, and it looks for 5s to hit, and it would perform that attack against the infantry. You do notice, though, that the infantry do not have an armor value. They just have the NATO symbol, which signifies soft target, in its upper right-hand corner. For units like this, the only defensive rolls that they're going to receive are going to be according to the terrain effects chart. And we can see that this infantry is located in a set of woods, and that's going to grant it a plus 1d6 bonus, which means they would roll a single die looking for a 5 or 6 when defending against the attack by the Tiger.